Okay, so to remove the original plate, we had to take the entire front end off of this, which meant that the actual curved part of the front that fits here had to come off as well. It fits right in there. Okay, now in doing that, we ended up taking the veneer off the top, and it is our intention to re-veneer this surface with rosewood as correct. Now, never under any condition use contact cement for veneer. It does not last, it does not work. You can tell me it works, but I've never seen it not fail. After about a year, it will fail. So we'll put it down with a traditional woodworking glue. It doesn't matter, you can put it down with epoxy, just not contact cement. So this will get re-veneered. Then we'll put all the carvings back on when it's all done. Now I'm going to take apart how we chalk fitted it, one piece at a time. So here's our first piece here. You can see the screw holes. We're going to have to screw it back in. It just has to go back together the way it came out in order to be strong. So there's that. And each layer we put in locator screws so that when we glue it together, it's tight. That way when we glue it together, we don't, oh, it's real tight. All right. That way when we glue it together, we don't get it out of order. There she comes. Okay. So this is a top layer here. It's hard maple, it's actual pinblock material. Then we chalk fitted this to the struts. There's more forming to do, but we chalk fitted this layer to the struts. It has to glue down to this layer, which I will now show you. This layer has been chalk fitted to the plate itself at the very front edge. Okay? Every layer is tight. And every layer shows some actual chalk. You can see that we chalked it to the struts as well. So there's layer number 2. Then this layer here is the last and final layer that chalked to the front of the plate. And I'll show you why these Victorians are so tough, because there's another layer of chalking to do. All right, so this one is a tight form-fit chalk job where we have chalk everywhere, and we carefully chalk to the plate. Now, if you come over here and take a look, you can see how we had to chalk that in, and it was important that that was a solid fit. So if it's in on the edges, it's in on the front, it's in on the struts, that's pretty good. We just about got it. Except the first layer here, which we actually had to glue up and get our thickness right first. So we fed that through the planer at the correct thickness. You'll see this in a second. This actually goes underneath the plate and is chalk fitted on its own surface there. If I take out these 3 locating screws here, which I've carefully put in, these whose purpose it is to hold this layer, you can see that the plate is physically sitting on top of it with yet another chalked surface here. So, if I assemble this, this begins to look a lot like that. That layer on top of, or underneath this layer, underneath this layer next, and then this layer last. This will get glued together today, and once it's glued together, then I have to grind all of these surfaces here to make them correct, and then I have to veneer face this. A decorative maple veneer has to go over all of this before I drill my holes. Once that's done, then this will glue on top of the decorative face veneer. That's important because the decorative veneer will want to pull off with the pins. This is a piece of wood that wants to rip apart under string tension. In order for it not to rip apart, our chalk fitting and our gluing must be critical. I will not glue this up with epoxy. Epoxies are fantastic gap filling glues. I will actually use a traditional wood glue for this. And then my epoxy will be what I use on the top layer to go against these grains, because that'll work to soak in, saturate, and gap fill. So once my decorative veneer comes over top of this whole curved surface after I've done my grinding, then and only then will this glue on top, and then I will have a match to the original that will not display cracks anywhere. So there you have it.